Hi, I'm Julie Weber of Liberate Ministries, and today's topic is called Forgiveness 2. This is video 2 of a two-part video series on forgiveness. All information is quoted from my Lady Liberty workbook on pages 93 through 95. Forgiving yourself, receiving God's forgiveness. I want to be clear. Jesus is the only one who has the power to forgive people of their sins through his sinless life and sacrifice on the cross. We as people do not have the ability to forgive our own sins. That is not the point of this section. It isn't always an easy journey, but I've seen that through this course, post-abortive women are able to get to a point where they can forgive others and ask others to forgive them. Their lives improve when they let go of the hurt others have caused them, and also when they realize they have hurt others and need forgiveness. However, I see the same women having a difficult time believing that God has forgiven them for their abortions. It is a sin if you don't forgive yourself. Why is it a sin if you don't forgive yourself? Where does it say that in the Bible? Galatians 5:19 through 21. The acts of a sinful nature are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. This scripture above has the word hatred in it. So we have learned from an earlier lesson that self-hatred is extreme dislike toward yourself. The scripture also says that people who live like that will not inherit the kingdom of God. So hating ourselves means that we are sinning by not accepting and embracing the value that God has placed upon us. Direct your hate to your true enemy, Satan, the evil one. Romans 12:9. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Proverbs 8:13. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior, perverse speech. Many post-abortive women can believe that God has forgiven them in their mind. The hardest step for them is being able to believe this truth, that Jesus really does forgive them in their heart. After all, they say, I took the life of my child. God says he forgives me, but how can this be true? It is when a post-abortive woman accepts the word of God and believes in her heart that God has forgiven her, that is when the self-hatred falls away. A post-abortive woman believes that God can forgive everyone but her. We are sinning if we condemn ourselves. The following two verses show God's love for us and reinforces that he is not interested in condemning us. Romans 8:1. So now there is no condemnation for those who belong in Christ Jesus. And John 8:10 through 11. When Jesus raised himself up, he said to her, Woman, where are your accusers? Has no man condemned you? And she answered, No one, Lord. And Jesus said, I do not condemn you either. Go on your way, and from now on sin no more. Pride. Did you ever stop to think that if God has forgiven us and yet we don't receive his forgiveness, we are walking in pride? Unknowingly, we often put our thoughts above God's thoughts which is a form of pride. Some examples of our thoughts that we could be placing above God's thoughts. I am unworthy of God's forgiveness. I killed my child. That is the worst thing I could have done. I don't deserve God's forgiveness. Yeah, I know what the Bible says, but I just can't accept it. If we agree that God's Word, the Bible, is the standard for living, our source of truth, which says in 1 John 1:9, if we confess our sins, He is faithful and just and will forgive us of our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. So, how do you accept and believe God's forgiveness? By taking steps of faith. Let's take an example of receiving salvation. You heard what God had to offer. You took a step of faith in choosing to invite Him to come into your heart. You repented and asked Jesus into your heart, and He came. You trusted and believed that He forgave you and came into your heart and saved you. Later came the feelings of being cleansed and renewed and saved. When it comes to healing, miracles, salvations, forgiveness, or any subject mentioned in the Bible, we need to accept God's Word as truth on the subject. That way we can read and receive what God has to say on forgiveness. I have a quote here by John Bevere. When it comes to the Word of God, believe what you read, rather than reading what you believe. We are supposed to love our neighbors like ourselves. So how can we love our neighbors if we don't love ourselves? We must forgive ourselves and let ourselves off of the hook, just as God has done for us. This course and this lesson are all about helping you get to a place where you can receive God's forgiveness deep in your heart, so that you will never doubt again that God has forgiven you unconditionally. Okay. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. We can forgive, and we do. A study that was conducted by the University of Michigan Institute for Social Research found that nearly 60% of a nationally representative sample of 1,423 Americans report that they have forgiven themselves for past mistakes or wrongdoing, and 52% say they have forgiven others. Middle-aged and older adults were more likely to forgive than were the younger adults. In those aged 45 and older, forgiving others was linked with better self-reported mental and physical health. The benefits of forgiveness seem to increase with age. Forgiving those who have harmed you has a favorable impact on physical and mental health. To summarize the research in this area, the Harvard Women's Health Watch concludes that forgiving those who have done you wrong helps you more than it does the other person. Nursing a grudge creates stress and raises the blood pressure, but forgiving someone lowers your blood pressure and heart rate, and also reduces the workload of the heart. A study also shows that those with chronic back pain felt less pain and anxiety if they did meditation that concentrated on forgiveness. Relationships become closer with physical and mental health benefits when women forgive their spouses, according to research. Studies have shown that those who deal with forgiveness issues in psychotherapy find greater resolution than those who do not. So if you're holding a resentment, why not consider letting go of it? The Bible makes a powerful promise in Matthew 6:14 through 23. No, Matthew 6:14 through 15. For if you forgive men when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins. I would like to pray for you. Dear God, please help everyone watching these videos as they process forgiveness to choose to forgive and walk a different way. Help them to release any unforgiveness towards people and themselves to you. Help them to receive your forgiveness. Father, set them free from the bondage of sin Satan has had on them since the time of their abortions. Holy Spirit, please restore all the things in their lives that was lost and stolen from them by Satan. Amen. Thanks for watching. Live life liberated.